Is standing by to bring us up to speed with stories that are trending now. Olamide?
Good morning, gorgeous.
Good morning.
Good morning. Both you and Ria.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I've got some good stories for you guys today. I hope you enjoy them.
Definitely.
I'm going to take it away.
All right.
Good morning, Nigeria. I made you guys a promise that my finger will constantly be on the pulse and my eyes on the streets. And it's the trending story. I said I was going to bring it on here to dissect it properly and professionally with the team. In our first story today, Natasha Osawaru, the Edo State lawmaker and reported partner of music star Tubaba, has been removed from her position as minority leader in the Edo State House of Assembly. Now, Natasha Osawaru represents the Igor constituency under the People's Democratic Party, and she unfortunately lost her leadership role after 4 PDP lawmakers recently defected to the All Progressives Congress, giving the APC majority control in the assembly. Now, this leadership shift led to the removal of several PDP leaders, including Natasha, but she was not the only one. Now, her name has been making headlines since January, since her and Two-Face publicly started dating, and he confirmed his split from longtime partner Annie Idibia. What really struck me with this case was that a lot of Nigerians were rejoicing that she's been removed. And this really shows an apparent lack of political knowledge and political participation. These defects and these political reshuffles are perfectly normal. And as the 2027 elections roll in and come closer, we're going to see a lot more political shake-ups like this. So it has nothing to do with her being a celebrity or being removed or any sort of disciplinary measures. But let's take a look at social media. Baba K says, her love life has affected her political career just like that. In all this, she's the granddaughter of a billionaire. Baba K, you have to educate yourself. It had nothing to do with her love life. One user puts it very aptly, and he educated us here. Richard says, Nigerians can be quite gullible and often lack a deep understanding of politics, which is why our leaders seem to use us as pawns in their games. She is no longer the minority leader because some members of her party defected to another party, leading to a reshuffle in the House, which is a normal thing to do. Thank you for enlightening us, Richard. Moving on in our next story, another Natasha. Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan is dragging her fellow lawmaker, Senator Onyeka Chinua-Ebonyi, to court and is demanding 5 billion naira in damages for defamation. According to her legal team, Chinua-Ebonyi made damaging claims about her during interviews on various Nigerian media stations in March 2025. She says that the comments were not only false, but that they were deliberately aimed at tarnishing her image. Now, this suit has been filed at the High Court in Abuja, and it's asking the court to declare the remarks made by Senator Chinua-Ebonyi as defamatory and harmful to her reputation. It's a bold legal move by her, and of course, there's a lot of political conversation about this in media circles. Let's take a look at social media. Pragmatic says, so Natasha knows about defamation, but she says some people planned her assassination without proof. I hope she has evidence to back this alleged defamation. Because why not sue Akpabio, who sexually harassed her? Or is that just for TV interviews and public emotional sympathy? Let's take one more tweet. Soji Boy says, the world is not fair already, madam. You cannot fight all your enemies at once. There's only one way to eat an elephant, one bite at a time. Now, for this defamation lawsuit to be successful, Senator Natasha's legal team is going to have to prove that not only were the remarks made by Senator Chinua-Ebonyi false, but that they also actually caused harm to her reputation. She also has to prove that the statements were made publicly, which might be easy to do because he did say a lot of these things on national TV, things about her personal life. But what do you guys make about this? These defamation cases, 5 billion, 100 million. We're really struggling already with the minimum wage.
What's your own? Are you the one defamed?
I swear.
You just said 5 billion, 200 billion gazillion. You're like, what is going on?
With the last tweets, I think she should take it one at a time. I really agree with that because it's too much, you know. But also, I really agree on if someone says something about you that is not true, you have the right to go ahead and sue the person. Yeah. But leading with everything that has been happening with her, I think one at a time will not be a problem.
Absolutely. Everyone, you know, can make a claim. Sometimes you say something. That's why they say there's freedom of information. But the thing is freedom of expression, but there is no right to, there is no freedom after speech. According to who said that? I think Idi Amin, former president of Uganda. But the thing is, when you make claims, always ensure that what you've said about the person is true. And then the person, just like you said, Olamide, must be able to prove at the end of the day that this has painted me in a bad light, that's given, damaged my reputation. But everyone is now throwing, claims, counter claims around. He has defamed me, they've defamed me, and all of that. Let's all go to court and prove it so that at least we'll have a breather at the end of the day.
All right, I want to take the first Natasha's story, talking about Two-Face's relationship or his lover. Anyway, I think now she will focus on her relationship. She will now lead Two-Face perhaps aright, now that she doesn't have a role, although she's still on the floor of the house, but she can focus more on her relationship, do any other thing, and all of that. There were issues that went on politically, and so that should no longer be a distraction for her. So now she'll channel her energy into her relationship.
Why can't she do both, Veronica?
Sorry?
Why can't she do both?
Let me just add to what
Veronica is just sarcastic.
She's been
being sarcastic.
The lady has also been very tacky with her position. Let's not lie. She's been taking Two-Face to the assembly and everything. She's been very tacky. She can't
take anyone to the assembly. There's a room for where people can come and sit. It's allowed. She's only leading him. He needs to learn the ropes about everything she's doing. So bringing him there, there's nothing wrong.
Who knows?
This is sarcasm. I smell sarcasm.
I want to run for.
I smell sarcasm, Veronica.
Okay, let me come in there. It's getting so close to where if something happens to you that becomes viral, we'll say you have been Natasha'd, because we're
have been Natasha'd.
Yes, we're having them we're having so many different stories coming from them, and Akpoti Udwan. The woman knows the way to the courts because
she's a lawyer.
Yeah, she is a lawyer, and I was expecting that she will be doing more of the defending because she is a lawyer, but she's the one that's taking a whole lot of people to court. Take it one at a time, just like every other person has said. You can't fight battles in so many fronts.
Well, if you have the powers, please go ahead. I support you.
I would say that you guys really Natasha these stories.
That's a Kogi movement.
I feel it.
In our next story, earlier this week, a disturbing video showing police officers assaulting a young man in Agbo, Delta State, sparked widespread outrage across social media. Now, this incident is not uncommon, but it did trigger a fresh wave of criticism over police brutality in Nigeria. But luckily, responding to all the public anger, the Delta State Police spokesperson, Bright Edafe, confirmed that the officers involved are facing consequences. The Delta State Commissioner of Police has also ordered that their senior team leaders face a formal disciplinary process, including an orderly room trial. This is very, very important. It's an important story for us to tell because just last week, a young man, a young artist, Paul Obukewo, died in police custody in Ughelli local government area of Delta State. He was just 24, he was a budding musician, and he lost his life simply because he had the guts to ask a rapid response squad, why did you make this arrest on, one of my friends? And he died in police custody. His family is now sending out a petition against the Inspector General of Police and the Delta State Commissioner of Police. But let's take a look at social media. Let's take one or two tweets. Stylo says, there has to be a nationwide reorientation. We know they can't all be bad, but bad behavior is repeatedly shown irrespective of previous punishment on their colleagues. So what is the problem? Is it hunger? Is it greed? Is it a love of money? Or is it power? And we'll take one more tweet. It is very, very important to note that this does give accountability in a sense. But I have to ask myself, what about the videos that we don't get to see? What about the checkpoints that go undocumented? What happens in the private cells? This is one video that we got to get justice on. But what happens when no one is watching, when our phones and cameras aren't out? That is a question that we need to ask. It is pertinent. But moving on in our final story, this story made me laugh. A Nigerian woman has gone viral after celebrating what she calls a groundbreaking achievement. She became the first woman from her community to board an airplane. That's right. In photos that have quickly spread across social media, she's seen smiling proudly in front of an Air Peace flight, posing with custom-made banner that boldly reads, first woman to enter an airplane in my community. She was dressed to impress and she was clearly excited. And of course, she sparked a range of reactions online. While some people have mocked her, I myself can't help but think about how beautiful it is to transcend socioeconomic barriers. But before I take some tweets and hand over to my team, I'd like to ask you guys, please, and this is yet to happen, chime in on the conversation on social media with the hashtag trending now on TVC on any social media platform. And who knows, one of these days you might take your tweets. But let's take a look at social media. This is her in front of the flight, looking very happy. Banti says, I envy people that know how to celebrate little wins that we take for granted. And moving on in our next story, in our next tweet rather. Abidemi says, she has taught every child in that community that anything is possible. It's worth celebrating. Guys, I want to play an unorthodox game right now on national television. What were you the first to do in your family, in your community, in your life?
There are so many things, so let's not go there. But I just want to say that for some persons, celebrating these wins that we may term as small is great. We do not know what her background has been, and she is here to say, you know what, if I did it, it's possible for those in her community as well. So kudos to her celebrating that and being bold enough to say, you know what, this is my first time, you know, catching a flight, and it's good for her. I'm happy for you. Congratulations.
And also, we talk about break generational curses. Maybe nobody in her family has ever entered a plane, so it's a good one. And I like the fact that she's bold enough to come out and celebrate that. Hey, I got into a plane, and this is me in front of the plane. You know, that's a good one.
I'll just end with this quote that he will appreciate little wins, appreciate God for something. They will definitely live to get something better. So I say kudos to her, congratulations to her, congratulations to her community, congratulations to her family.
And who knows, one day she might land in a helicopter in her local government area.
Yeah, I'm just imagining her going back to the village, and then there's their traditional dances welcoming her and saying, you've done great. As Vero said, yes, she's motivated quite a number of people from that community, especially the women.
Right, right. Unfortunately, our time is up. But thank you, Olamide, for those interesting stories. This is where we have to draw the curtains on the program for today. Let's let you know that the views and reactions of all our resource persons are theirs and have no connection with TVC News. Up next is Your View with the Ladies, and afterwards is This Morning with Yori Folari.